People that are graduating college, they're not coming back and buying a starter house. They're just not. But people that are going to be working in the city, working in Queens, they can walk and they can come back home to Hicksville and eat dinner out there. They can fill, there are a multitude of ideas, other examples that I'm looking forward to work with. I'm proud of every person to be up here. Thank you for this question.
I just wanted to address that question that one of my running mates had. And
go ahead, you have 2 minutes and then.
Our slogan, all right, I want to be very, very clear, all right? I think that the reason that this team came up with that slogan was because of the assault on suburbia that we saw was coming from Albany. That's why, because they were going to usurp our local zoning. What makes us suburban as opposed to urban? It's our local zoning. We decide where the buildings go, where the tall buildings go. We decide where the single-family homes go and where the industrial properties are. That's a fundamental job of us as a town council to protect our suburban quality of life. That's what that's all about. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's about protecting the values. Now, all of you live in Plainview. It's a testament to your success that you have a home in Plainview. But you know something? Are they going to put affordable housing over on Mulholland Drive or in Beverly Hills? No, they're not going to do that because that's where multimillionaires live. Well, you know, the truth of the matter is not everybody can live in the town of Oyster Bay. I know my own children are struggling to find a home here because this is where we want to live and raise our families. And we're going to do everything we can within our power to make that happen with alternative forms of housing. But we have to be careful. You do not want to destroy the fabric of what we've built here, what our parents have built here, and our grandparents came here after World War II, and they settled and they built these communities to be suburban. That's what we want to keep. So that's my answer to that. I hope that addresses the question.
Did you want? All right, one more. Ms. Medeiros. No, I'm sorry. Ms. Medeiros' turn. Go ahead.
Just very briefly, I thank you for your question because it sparks some discourse about other comments that were made, but you did bring up Farmingdale and you brought up if there was a plan to revitalize Hicksville or build it up other than housing. So I can say I live in Farmingdale, I mentioned before. My understanding is the village was very involved in the development of Main Street. What I can say is, I'm not going to call it affordable housing because my apartment is, not that affordable, but there are apartments. Main Street is booming with restaurants. I moved in 2 weeks before the COVID shutdown, and I looked from my apartment window, and I saw no one on the street. After when things started to reopen, young working professionals, families, they've all come. Those businesses have stayed. New businesses have come.
Using my name on Thursdays is fantastic.
It's fantastic. And
Please don't
so,
want that.
and it's keeping our families and our young working professionals here, rather than move out to the city and take the train home to come see their parents. I mentioned that my nieces live here and I don't want to be far away from them. So you also mentioned Hicksville. Hicksville is right. Now, I'm not saying the same model can be used, which is why our plan for revitalization of Hicksville that has that huge Long Island hub running right through it and needs to be optimized is to create a leadership development role to help advise us as to how to revitalize Hicksville and bring in that economic development and new energy that it should have there. So,
If you could do one, go ahead.
We have approved the DRI project, which is downtown revitalization, and we currently have in our Oyster Bay Norwich community, the Main Street Association, Rob, you're familiar with it. We are actually duplicating what we did in Oyster Bay and bringing it to Hicksville under business development. We've already talked to the chambers and the different business leaders, and 9 meetings for breaking ground. And we are going to have all the restaurants, the lighting, the paths. We have a whole plan for that. And we've already done it in different communities. It's not like Farmingdale, a few of the other hamlets, and we're doing exactly that in Hicksville.
Okay.
And back to just one other comment about housing and all of that. My son almost died because he had to wait 20 minutes for an ambulance because we have an ambulance shortage sometimes. And our resources are not quite there yet to sustain all of the families. So we have to really go through the resources and make sure that we have everything in place, especially the sewer system, and I'm on cesspool in my area, but really, 20 minutes, my son had a seizure. So let's just think about, can our fire departments, where we can't get volunteers right now, we have to beg for them, they're aging out. You're a volunteer fireman, how many new ones are coming on? Not too many, right? John, so let's just think about that when we talk about bringing all of the people into the community.
Thank you, Art. I just wanted to hold your question, we just want to give the opportunity to the final, we have 3 speakers left,
Okay, all right, the next speaker, we're going to have 2 speakers for the receiver of taxes. So the first speaker is the Republican conservative candidate for Town of Oyster Bay receiver of taxes, Receiver Jeffrey Provato.
Thank you, Fred. What's going on in Israel is horrific. We have a friend in Plainview, somebody might have heard on the news, that was taken hostage, pulled out of his tank on Saturday. Other friends that have been called up. My wife got a message from somebody that was a friend that was in a kibbutz. They took their kids, killed a lot of people. Assemblyman Ari Brown's brother was leading the operation today that found the 40 dead babies. It's horrific. And the town of Oyster Bay is united as Nassau County. Arnie Drucker, you were there today, as we always are, against anti-Semitism. You know, the town passed anti-Semitism legislation. We urged the boycott of Unilever. We approved the official town definition of anti-Semitism. We partner with the American AJC, which I'm part of. My daughter is part of also. We boosted public safety patrols at the schools during holiday. And at the beginning of the town board meeting, we started off with prayer. So my heart and my family's heart goes out to the people of Israel, because I am Jewish, not Jewish. So just want to get that straight. So what do we do in the town of Oyster Bay Receiver of Taxes office? First day we came in, I'm a numbers guy. I said, let's look at what we take down in Massapequa versus what we collect up north. And we found out that Town Hall South was the office that took in about twice as much checks and business as Town Hall North. So we talked about it. Let's make Town Hall South a fully operational facility. Why make the people of Plainview, Hicksville, Plainview, Farmingdale, Massapequa come all the way up to Oyster Bay? If they want to pay cash, credit card, come right down to Town Hall South. You could get that all done now. Also, what we did day one, eliminated the $10 fee to get a tax bill. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to charge people $10? They're already paying high taxes for something they already deserve. It's very easy to get that. Also, I looked at the interest rates we were getting from the banks back then. It was horrific. I called all the banks right away. You want to do business with us here in the town of Oyster Bay? You want our money, and it's a lot. We collect $1.7 billion between school and general taxes. I got them all to triple their rates. And then what happened? COVID hits. All the rates get back down to near nothing. But what happened when COVID hit? We had to think out of the box as a board and as a group. We were the first municipality, my office, Rich's office, to have walk-up windows, because people like to come and deliver their checks walking up. We've had someone from the post office came in a couple of weeks ago. He's like, I come in, I want to hand my check to your person because I don't trust the post office. You know, it's serious. It's actually does happen. Right now, I've gotten our rates up to about 4.5%. So what has that done? Saved the taxpayers money. The money that we've made on interest and fees, not the fees with checks and credit cards, that fees goes to them, but there's the late fees and everything. All the interest I've accrued, we just gave the supervisor's office over $5 million, which helps keep the tax base where it is so we don't have to raise taxes. What else have we done in the receiver's office? What wasn't done was helping people grieve their assessments. I wanted to go out there, help people get their assessment, get what's fair. Get what's fair to them, because everybody plays the game. They have a game that goes around to grieve your assessment. And my seminars are packed. Had a person come up to me a couple of weeks ago and said, Jeff, I did what you told me to do. And guess what? I got my assessment down to 11%. Because if you're not doing it, your neighbors are doing it. And I urge everybody to join our seminars. I want to help our seniors. Make sure our seniors get all their exemptions. Our veterans. Make sure our veterans are getting all their exemptions, everything that they're due to get. Because the veterans have fought for this country, and they don't deserve to pay some of the high taxes that they do. Because you know what happened with the seniors? Seniors say, I haven't had kids in school for 40 years. You know what this man did when he was up in the assembly? He wanted a bill to freeze senior taxes at a rate, and it was turned down by the other side. But the supervisor, when he was assemblyman, wanted that to be done, and it wasn't done. So, what are we looking to do? I'm going to finish up right now. What things are we looking to do? Looking to challenge my vendors. I want to do PayPal, Apple Pay, make it easier to pay online, because what we've done is we've moved a lot more people online. During COVID, I was the lead municipality to get it down to 75 cents for over a year. They put it back at $1.75 for your checks that you can pay online. We've done that stuff. Look at ways to constantly challenge our banks, make sure that we're getting the highest rates to save you taxpayer dollars, put money in the coffers, and make it look so that you don't have, that these people up here, my colleagues here in government, can keep the taxes the way they are, keep the tax cut the way it is, putting money back into your pockets, because that's what we do here in the town of Oyster Bay. We work for you. Thank you very much. I hope I earned your vote.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Democratic candidate for Town of Oyster Bay Receiver of Taxes, Vincent Macchio.
Good evening. Thanks for the privilege and the opportunity to speak before you this evening. In light of the atrocities being perpetrated upon the people of Israel, I think we up here can agree on one thing, that it makes everything tonight seem contrite and inconsequential to what's going on in the world. Having said that, we must move on. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a resident of Plainview for 28 years. I've coached Little League, I've coached basketball, CYO, I've coached many children in this town. When the baseball board was rocked by a scandal 17 years ago, they asked me to be a member of the board because they knew I was a person of integrity and I had morals and I was fair. I reluctantly said yes. So I'm a graduate of Hofstra University with a degree in accounting, where I also played Division I lacrosse. Now, I worked on Wall Street. I started off as a clerk on the Florida American Stock Exchange, worked my way up to running and supervising a bank of traders on the Florida Exchange, every day overseeing their risk, their P&L, how much money they had at risk, and how much money they were returning on what they were risking. From there, I moved on to Bear Stearns, where I worked on the overnight desk, and then later on ran a desk at a hedge fund, until the hedge fund closed up and I decided I'm going to take my chips and I'm going to work on the Florida Commodity Exchange, trade my own money. So I've always been cognizant of risk and money. I grew up in a working class family. My dad worked 3 jobs. I've grieved my taxes like everybody else. And what occurs to me is when you grieve your taxes, you give 30% of what you save to the firm that's grieving your taxes. So I think what has to be done is I'm proposing to have workshops where we will help you grieve your taxes. Not so you can go to a Mailbam or an Empire who's going to take 30% of your money and then donate it to whomever for whatever political office. But you'll be able to take that 30%, because God knows our taxes are high enough, and put it in your pocket. The other thing is, how many of you have been told by your bank, your insurance company, if, or even your phone company, if you pay, if you go paperless, you will have a lower rate, or you will You won't pay a fee. Everything today is online. It shouldn't be that you have to, why do we have an overhead of an office where you have to go to if you like to pay your taxes, which that office has to be funded, and that office people are being paid. See, I skipped over what the most important part. I also started my own business and I run my own business. So I know about expenses and I know about income and I know about how to balance the books. But let me tell you a dirty little secret. I never worked in government. I never ran for a government office. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even spell government, I think, till the 10th grade. But what I do know is I know that hard-working people want to keep as much of their money as they can. So when we're fighting high taxes and we have to grieve our taxes, which is a whole other subject, because why do we have to play this game where we grieve our taxes every year because the property tax system's so screwed up? But why should we give that money, 30% of it, to somebody else when we can do it ourselves? And I'm willing to help. I already contacted people who are willing to give free workshops to teach you how to do it yourself. And we should be able to set up an online system where you will be able to do it yourself. So very simply, everything else is done online. So it's time that we move to the 21st century and get this done the proper way. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, any questions tax-related for the last?
Why do we have to have a system where you have to grieve it every year, otherwise you fall behind all your neighbors? Why can't we get an assessment that doesn't need to be challenged every single year?
Mr. Machi, you want to respond?
Was that for me?
Yes, that's to you.
Either one, you or the receiver.
Well, first,
I'm the novice. It's my first time doing it, so that's something I plan to investigate the first day in office. Why we have to play this game of grieve our taxes, grieve it, and get it successfully grieved, and give 30% of that money to somebody else. When if you grieve it, you can keep all the money.
Yeah, but even if you do it yourself, why do we need
I
this case all
understand
the
that.
time?
You know what? I've been told that that's a bigger issue for the county, and it probably is. Well, let me ask you a question. If me as the person who can grieve your taxes is going to get 30% every time I grieve your taxes, what is the advantage for me to see the tax system being made fair and even? There is none. So whoever I'm donating to, I want to make sure that they roadblock any attempt to make the tax assessment process fair. It's, to me, it's, growing up on the streets with a story of Queens, it only makes sense.
thank you, Mr. Ravano.
The assessment's done through Nassau County. It's been like that for years. Unfortunately, we're one of 2 counties in the whole state of New York where the county guarantees the school taxes. They've decided about how to do it. The former administration in Nassau County put in a 5-year phase, and we're almost through that. Hopefully, they'll come up with something better. But I don't know if you heard when I talked, Vince, I was saying I already do town workshops, and I've saved people money. My tax seminars are packed every time. And when you're talking about the office, online, we've enhanced online. We're looking to make it better. It's a lot of challenges with our vendors. We're getting there. We're going to make it better. There's a lot of people that still like to write out a check, come, a lot of cash is paid, credit cards. I put in kiosks in our town halls now, north and south. You don't have to wait in line. Go right up there with a kiosk. Drop boxes also for after hours. I've made it so simple to do the hardest and most difficult thing that people hate to do. But I'm trying to make it as easy and painless as possible. Thank you. Fred.
Thank you very much. Okay, now,
I have to say one thing, because they brought up the county now, both sides. And I got to answer, right?
I'm going to give you, I'll give you,
The county, so I got to answer.
I'm going to, 1 minute.
1 minute, seriously, I'm not, because we can talk about this for hours.
Exactly.
In 2011, Ed Mangano, chief executive, froze the tax rolls. They were frozen for 10 years until Laura Curran unfroze them in 2018. When they were unfrozen, the real estate values that had been frozen for 10 years now came to life. And when we hired an assessment company, an appraisal company, to come and assess 380,000 properties. And all of a sudden, people got sticker shock. They saw that their house, which had been frozen at an assessed value because people kept grieving it year after year, and now when they see their tax bill, they say, my house is appraised at fair market value of $350,000. I know it's worth double that, right? So when it got reassessed, and now they got a sticker shock saying my house is $750, and we have to pay a tax based on that value, well, now all of a sudden people have a different set of taxes that they now continuously grieve. But with the phase-in program that Laura Curran had, it's phased in over a period of time, okay, because we had to get, the assessment system we had for 10 years was dysfunctional. It was dishonest, it was inaccurate. People had no choice but to grieve their taxes.
Thank
And
you.
the unfortunate part about all that is that people who didn't grieve their taxes were getting penalized.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to just give Mr. Asma, if you want, a minute, if you want. Hold on, I'm going to let,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to give him a minute. I try to be fair. Go ahead, if you'd like to have 1 minute to
Well,
respond.
the only thing that gets me, let's take an example, is the Point of Woods. You know, the country Point of Woods. I mean, you take a look at what they did there, is they had that new development, and what they did is, when they realized what the taxes were, they found a loophole in the state, and now what they did is they deferred all of the costs. Well, all the other people outside the communities picking up the cost, police department, the schools, everything else, is being paid for what everyone else for over an 8-year period of time. Comes out to millions of dollars. I mean, and who reaped on it? You know, you guys paid for it, which I think the whole assessment thing needs to be revisited. It's wrong.
Thank you, thank you. All right, one more question. I want to get to the last speaker. Yes, well, yeah. One second. Lady, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'd like to know why the formula for figuring out your taxes has to be so complicated. I know that it's on a county level, but there's the residential ratio and the other thing that you multiply it by, that it is extremely hard for someone without a lawyer to know what to look for when they're grieving their taxes. And I've gone to some of the
Yeah.
seminars, and it's like a mystery, this residential ratio, because you can't go by the assessed value, you have to use the residential ratio, which it was impossible.
Okay, again, 1 minute.
You have to have
1 minute.
physics, I think, but maybe legislator Drucker can tell us what the formula is. It's, listen, but in fairness to Arnie, I get they get the assessments from the school districts.
Right.
They give it to me, my office is charged by the state. Basically, we collect the taxes, we don't make them. It's decided by the school districts, the residents in the school districts vote on it. Nassau County it's called a warrant. I get the warrant, collect them, anything that's not collected goes back, but it's all figured out.
Go ahead, Arnie, 1 minute.
Your school taxes comprise 70% of all of your taxes.
Yep.
Okay, so 70% of that, the county cannot figure out a tax rate until they get the school budget, which everyone votes on in May, and it passes almost to everybody. And then by August, the school districts have to submit their budget to the county. And then the county has to come up with their formula. So the formula is, when they get that, I don't even know how to describe it, Jeff. I will tell you this. There's a fair market value adjusted to your house, and then the LOI, which is what you were referring to, is called the level of assessment. Okay, that's 1%. So they multiply this fair market value by 1%, and you get that assessed value, and then that value, they multiply it by the rate. And the rate is determined by a formula.
Thank you for clarifying that, Arnie.
But the
All right.
tax of your taxes is only a small
We're-
13%. It's a
You have a
small, it's
question?
less than what you pay for your cable
All
bill every
right,
month.
this is actually the last question for the receiver. Go ahead.
I'm just, you don't get, I know state-
1 second. I'm sorry, someone's asking. No. I'm sorry, we're asking a question. We're asking a question of the receivers of taxes, a tax question. Okay. All right, the last speaker of the evening, I believe, but
Rich, you got 30 seconds.
she's not here. I have to say before we go, we have never, this is an all-time record for Meet the Candidates. It's 10:20, so I apologize. But everyone's still here pretty much, and all the candidates are here. I have to think we should give them applause for all of them hanging in here for the entire time. So thank everyone for hanging in. So, the last speaker, right, Susan is not here, right? Yeah, okay. The Republican conservative candidate for Town of Oyster Bay Clerk, Richard Lamarca.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for hanging on for me to speak lastly in the pecking order tonight.
Best for last.
I'm Rich Lamarca, your Oyster Bay Town Clerk, and I'm currently finishing up my second two-year term as your clerk, and I am excited to be running for my third term on November the 7th. Before I proceed, I do have to say as well that I am truly, truly sickened by the tragic events taking place right now in the Middle East. My heart goes out to the family and friends of all those who have perished, all those who have been taken hostage, and all those who are suffering because of this god-awful catastrophe that we have right now. A little bit about myself. I am married. I'm a father of 5 beautiful children, ranging in age 30 to 7. That's right, I have 2 7-year-old twins, boy and girl, and they're a delight. That's right, I am. I will not be retired. So please vote for me. I was born and raised in Oyster Bay, and I'm raising that family right now in Oyster Bay as well. I'm a graduate of the Villanova University. I got a business degree from Villanova in the 80s. Go Cats, that's right. Jay Wright, baby. I've got my Master's of Business Administration from St. John's University. In the community, I am very active. I'm president of the Oyster Bay Civic Association. I'm on the board of directors of the Oyster Bay North Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the advisory board of the Main Street Association. I'm Nassau County Police Commissioner Riders, Community Council Representative for the 18th Legislative District, and I enjoy doing all this stuff in my spare time. When I graduated college, I started working on Wall Street, spent a few years doing that, and then I joined a Fortune 500 firm in the financial services industry, and I spent many years traveling all over the world helping to set up joint venture partnerships, mostly in Asian markets. I've been everywhere from China to India to Indonesia, Korea, Vietnam. It was a great experience getting to see different cultures and how they operate on a daily basis. I did that for about 20 years or so, and it was back in 2012 that I first joined the town of Oyster Bay as their Director of Labor Management Relations. I did that for just almost 8 years, and then it was in 2017 that Supervisor Saladino joined the town of Oyster Bay, and there was this incredible transformation that started to take place. And I befriended the supervisor, and he spent a lot of time visiting me in my office, and we became good friends. And in 2019, he asked me to join his team and asked me to run as the town clerk, to which I agreed. And it's been fantastic, I have to tell you. Based on what I told you about what I do in my community, I love serving people. It brings great satisfaction to me. So as your town clerk, that's what I do. I serve the residents of the town of Oyster Bay. As I mentioned to you, I commuted in those jobs that I had prior to joining the town of Oyster Bay. I commuted to Manhattan for many years when I wasn't traveling. And one of my pet peeves in local government was that anytime I needed a service from, let's say, the clerk's office, I had to take a day off of work, and that drove me nuts. So when I got into the town of Oyster Bay, one of the first things I said I was going to do was to streamline services and make them more accessible to our residents. The pandemic helped me get to that a lot quicker than I had planned, because we weren't allowing people into our building anymore, so we put a lot of our services online. We started accepting documents where we could via email. We tried to make people more comfortable by coming to our office. As Jeff Bravado had mentioned, we opened up walk-up windows in the town clerk's office in both Town Hall North and Town Hall South down in Massapequa, as the tax receiver's office did. We set up a storefront with a big counter at the entrance to the clerk's office. So it used to be such that when residents came into the clerk's office for services, they would come down and find their way to whoever was going to be meeting with them and sit at their desk. Now there's a large counter, and it's like a bank teller system where you have a plexiglass window with slots where people can pass documents to and from to each other.
If you could finish up, please.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things that I'm looking to do now as I move forward, should I get reelected, is we have many historical documents and artifacts in the town of Oyster Bay, and I think that should be made accessible to all of our residents. Lastly, I want to say that, someone mentioned, we have a great mix of government and private sector folks on this team right here. You talk about Wall Street people, you talk about people owning their own business, and you talk about people with long years of government service. Working together as a team, it works, folks. You've heard the numbers, you've heard the turnaround we've done in the town of Oyster Bay. I hope we have your vote going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the town clerk candidate? None? Okay. Before I thank everyone, I just have one request of my wife, who's sitting in the front seat there. Honey, next year, please remind me to sit down, because 2 hours of standing here. I know, but now it's too late. Now it's too late, so I'm going to feel it later. But no, seriously, I just want to thank 13 of the 14 candidates appeared tonight, which is tremendous. I think it's the best turnout we've ever had. It was a lively discussion. I thought it was just great. And just about everybody stayed, so I really appreciate everyone coming tonight. Best of luck to everyone. Vote on November 7th. Thank you very much. Thank you. There you go. All the best to everybody. Okay.
Oh my God, I can't. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.